Okay, hi everybody, it's me, Bonka 922. It's Thursday. It's time for another episode review of, get the title card here, Ancient Magus Bride Season 2. This one was called Birds of a Feather Flock Together. Now, not a lot is shown, done. This is very weird. This is a very strange episode. So this episode basically, she goes to her classes. She say. Now we get introduced to some of her classmates. Not everything. We already introduced to the principal, and we got introduced last week to her roommate, Lucy. Fairy tale? No. Anyway, moving on. We also get introduced to the girl at the end of last week's episode who she saved, who collapsed. Now, I kind of spoiled myself by looking it up on Analyst. Not too much. I just saw what her connection is. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So the girl she saves, she say, is named, as I got her name here, Philomela. Philomela. Now, she seems to be, I don't want to say like, there's something wrong with her. It's funny. She acts like how Chisei acted in season 1. You know how in season 1 where, she would use magic and she would faint and all that stuff. So this is kind of a weird situation. It's almost as if Chisei is looking into a mirror at herself when she looks at this girl. And she's carrying her, doing the princess carry, which is weird. Lesbians. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And she's carrying her in her arms, and she's like, she starts frailing, and she says, you can put me down now. She's but she's very soft-spoken, this girl. And so she begins to go on a diatribe, she's saying, giving her tea and other things that will calm her nerves because she says she's nervous. Now, she does this for her, she said, and then she goes on her merry way because she actually meets up with Alice. Remember Alice from season 1, the blonde. But after she leaves, this other blonde comes in, who we're introduced later, and she tells her, was someone here? And she says no. And then we just cut scene and just go to their class. And the same thing happens to Chisei. She goes to her next class. Now, she has flashbacks, Chisei, about when she was in high school and how she was treated and blah, blah, blah. And Alice is there to slap her in the back and says, hey, just get to it. So she goes in there. Like I said, we get introduced to some of the characters. I would say, let me try to think. We already got introduced to Philomela. So there's only like about 2 more characters you get introduced. There's some others here and there, but they weren't really focused on to a great extent. So the first class she goes into is Latin. And this guy who's the professor has this huge diatribe about magic and all that stuff. And, he realizes that Chisei's new and what she is, blah, blah, blah. We get introduced to Veronica Rickenbacker. Yeah, this girl, not trustworthy. Not at all. It's like manipulator, Especially when you consider the fact that we saw the same character in the previous scene with Philomena, and she's telling her to go with her. I know the story behind this. It's yeah. But anyway, there's basically Chise goes to two classes: the Latin class and the other class. Now I didn't notice this when the episode started. I thought this was this character who showed up who had the silver hair was a villain, but it wasn't a villain. It was what's his face? Freaking Elias. Elias. Disguised as some girl. But basically, after the Latin class, they get to this class for magic. And it has to do, they have to basically get a familiar to create a flame. Now, they ask Alice and Chise to do this. Alice completely screws it up. She just destroys the candle, and then Elias is behind, like, too extreme. And then, Chise does hers, and she gets a salamander to do it, and she's got aura of magic happening, and it's like a ball of flame, and is able to do it, and then it disappears. Now, there's one other character we get introduced to. We find out their name, which is basically Rian Scrimger. I'm just going to call him Rian. Rian. So that's basically three characters, not including her roommate that we met from last episode. Also, the professor's name I forgot to mention is Sarisi. Sounds almost similar to being narcissist. Narcissist kind of word. The way he said his name. But basically, they have the demonstration, but then a few of the students are trying to do their demonstration, and one of them, does a little bit too much and forceful on the salamander, and the salamander grows big and is out to kill him. A lot. Elias unfortunately reveals himself, skull and all, stops the salamander, and tells Chise to bring back to that. Take care of the salamander. So that's basically what happens. And he tells them, okay, now if you can't do this, then on you go. Because now you know the danger of what this is, and so on and so forth. But anyway, obviously, the other person that was in this episode was Renfred. The guy with the scars on his face. There's a scene where he's grabbing him. That was hilarious. But we get another scene when Alice and Chise are walking away, and Rian is there. And he shakes his hand with Chise, and he wants her to teach him how to use magic. It's like one of those craziest things, But anyway, basically that's what happened in the episode. So we get another scene with these two guys and people in lab coats going through this locked door. And that's what the episode ends. Overall, I thought this was pretty tamed of an episode. Once again, the animation is, whoo boy. Music was good too. Not a lot happened. Not a lot happened. It was just really just introductions to characters, and we found out a few things. But from my impressions so far, stay away from Veronica. She's no good. Yeah, she's no good. She, manipulator. I'm calling it right now. And I already can tell, looking up the backstory of, what's-her-face. Yeah, she's not a good person. But overall it was good. I'd probably give this a not completely great. Not a lot happened. So I'm not gonna give this a 9 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. Still pretty good. But from my aspects so far, we were introduced to a few more of her classmates, another professor. It's obvious that this Veronica person is, oh boy. I didn't really look her up. Exactly what her deal is. Um, yeah, Philomena. But she's she's bad news because when I looked up Philomela, yeah, apparently she's sworn fealty to Veronica. Her family did. So that's the Carol, the bad kind of thing. I apologize if I spoiled anything for anyone. I'm just looking at it's just general aspect of character info on analyst, but that seems to be the case. So that's really the only takeaway from this episode. Aside from that, it's really just this Rian guy, Rian. He wants Cisse to teach him magic. It's dude, she's not a teacher, she's a student, but obviously, yeah, okay. But anyway, that's basically the whole spiel about the episode. So we'll see what next week. From the trailer, it seems like we're getting some PTSD moments with Cisse concerning the villain from last season. So there's gonna be a lot more PTSD going on, memories here and there. Um, what have you. But we haven't got introduced to half the class yet. So for all the other students that she's with, so this should be very interesting down the road. This is Bobcon 922. Let me ask you what you guys thought of the episode. What do you think about Veronica? What do you think about the other classmates? Where is this going to lead? I think I know where it's going to lead, but who knows? I'll see you guys later. Peace out.